Hi everyone, my name is Shrita and I'm an upcoming junior at Nice High School. I've been involved in DECA for the past 2 years, and throughout that time, I've learned a lot about competition, presentation, and creating strong projects. Today, we're going to talk about how to use Canva for DECA written events. A lot of people think that written events are all about the paper itself, but one thing I've learned through competing is that presentation matters almost as much as the content. Judges are reading dozens of projects, and the way your information is organized and presented can make a huge difference. Before we get started, I wanted to share a little bit about my DECA experience. Over the past few years, I've competed in several written events and learned a lot about what makes a project stand out. I earned third place at the district level with a 10-page paper, second place at the district level with a 20-page pitch deck, qualified for CDC twice with paper scores of 57 and 55, and qualified for ICDC. Throughout all of those projects, Canva was one of the tools I used most to make my papers look professional and easy to follow. So today I'll walk you through some of the ways you can use Canva to improve your own written events. Let's start with the cover page. The cover page is the first thing the judges see, which means it's your first opportunity to make a strong impression. When creating a cover page, it's important to include the key information judges need to identify your project quickly and professionally, such as your event name, project title, chapter name, school name, participant names, competition year, along with any other guidelines that the rubric has. One mistake I see is that a lot of people try to make their cover page overly creative. Remember, judges are looking for professionalism. You don't need five different graphics, bright colors everywhere, or a complicated design. Instead, focus on creating something clean, organized, and visually appealing. Think about how a real company would present a business proposal. That's the standard you're trying to meet. For example, one of my past papers focused on a career development project. And as you can see on the cover page, it clearly includes the project title, event name, chapter information, and competition year. We kept the design simple with a consistent color scheme, clean layout, and plenty of spacing to make it easy to read. A polished cover page like this helps create a strong first impression before judges even begin reading the paper. Let's talk about organization. One thing I realized after competing in written events is that the judges don't have unlimited time. They're reviewing project after project, so you want to make it as easy as possible for them to find important information. This is where Canva becomes really useful. You can create consistent section headers, title pages, dividers, highlight boxes, and visual callouts. These elements help judges guide through your paper. Instead of seeing a giant wall of text, they'll immediately know where each section begins and what information is important. For example, the title of this section is called the Executive Summary. It has different icons and elements to help judges understand the key information that is being presented to them. It also has bolded words so that they understand the important parts of the paper. Good organization makes your project feel more professional and easier to understand. Let's talk about one of the most important sections of the written event, the executive summary. The executive summary is one of the first things judges read. Because of that, it's important to communicate your project quickly and clearly. The executive summary is typically 1 to 3 pages long and provides a concise overview of each major section of your project, giving judges a clear summary of your key ideas, research, recommendations, and results before they read the full paper. For example, you could include your project goals, target audience, problems, key statistics, major recommendations, and expected outcomes. The goal is to help judges quickly understand the most important parts of your project before reading the full paper. Since judges review many projects, a clear visual summary can highlight your main idea, key findings, recommendations, and making your project easier to follow and remember. This is one of our examples of the executive summary. It has our three main problems, the solution, why we created it, participated, and a statistic to help the judges understand how important this problem is. Another area where Canva can really improve your project is data visualization. If you've conducted surveys, gathered research, or collected data, don't just list it in numbers in a paragraph. Turn those numbers into visuals. Canva allows you to create pie charts, bar graphs, comparison charts, timelines. Visuals help judges understand the information faster. For example, in another example of another paper that I made, this is a timeline for the judges to understand the successes and achievements up to present date. It has the dates and a key information of what happened during that dates to explain how important this is to the franchise. Another example is the statistic over here, where it explains how 72% of high school students express interest in pursuing entrepreneurship, shows the extent of the problem and statistics that can help back up your data. One of the biggest things that separates average projects from strong projects is consistency. Before you start designing, choose a visual style and stick with it. That includes fonts, colors, header styles, chart styles, and graphics. When everything matches, your project feels polished and professional. If every page uses a different font or color scheme, it can feel disorganized, leading judges to see it all over the place. Before we wrap up, let's go over some common mistakes. The first is using too many colors. Try to stick with two or three main colors throughout the project. Another mistake is using too many fonts. I recommend using one font for the headings and one font for body text. Third, adding unnecessary graphics. Every visual should have a purpose. Don't just put random things on your paper to fill up space. Fourth, making charts difficult to read. Always prioritize clarity over creativity. You want to make it easier for judges to understand what you're saying and understand the details of your paper. Finally, sacrificing professionalism for design. Remember, judges aren't scoring you on how artistic your project is. They're scoring you on how effectively you communicate your ideas. To wrap things up, Canva is one of the best tools available for DECA written events. Whether you're creating a traditional written paper, an innovation plan, a IMC, or even a pitch deck, strong visual presentation can elevate your project. Thank you.